I'm Howard Fox, Marketing Director here at GIBS, and today great pleasure to be chatting to alumni, and today we're going to talk to York Zucchi. York, first of all, can you let your hair down a little bit?
That's very funny. Good morning, Howard. Wonderful to see you as well.
You've got a very different profile to some of our MBA graduates. Starts off, you're Swiss. Tell us why you're in South Africa. What's attracted you to the African continent?
Well, I'm Swiss. Worked and lived in a number of countries around the world, from Dubai to Hong Kong to Boston, Luxembourg, France, Germany, Italy, and so forth. I worked along different industries. I spent 12 years not being sure what I wanted to do, and before being a slave to capitalism, to put it simply. And my last post was for 4.5 years at Goldman Sachs between Frankfurt and London, until I decided that it's actually time to become an entrepreneur. Not having a slightest clue of what I was going to do, I said, okay, what market is one where nobody actually wants to go, where there's a big difference between perception and reality? And South Africa, I knew South Africa previously from a couple of trips here. It sounded very, very attractive. Whenever people mention investments in Africa, people shied away from it. So I said, let me try that.
And what sparked that interest in entrepreneurship? Because you started off very corporate, as you say, Goldman Sachs, some of the big names, big financial services companies, and then suddenly you decided you wanted to be an entrepreneur. What sparked that sort of enlightenment?
I think it's a push and pull factor. The push is that I got fired 4 times from different companies.
Take some doing.
Yes, thank you very much. It's an accomplishment. 2 of them I quit, and 1 I made quite a lot of money, which allowed me to build up cash reserves and to say, right, for a couple of years I don't need to work. I have reserves. I can actually build and dedicate it to building a business. Obviously, to build a business in Europe would take substantially more reserves than it would in Africa, thanks to a lovely exchange rate. So I moved here, decided to build a business without having a clue what I was going to do. I found the atmosphere absolutely fantastic. The people are so warm, welcoming, easy to meet, easy to go into discussions. In fact, I always joke that South Africans are very similar to Italians. You can talk for hours about everything, but actually on the delivery side it's a bit lacking, until I actually started meeting people who are actually good at delivering. Right. And through those networks we started building on this idea and on that idea, and I'm not a big ideas fan, I'm a believer in implementation.
Doing.
Yes.
And you chose to do an entrepreneurial MBA, and you chose to do it at GIBS. Explain that decision to us.
I did. I moved to South Africa 3.5 years ago, and for the first 2 years I was building the businesses and so forth. But I noticed that I also don't know a lot. There's a lot of gaps in my knowledge. So I started looking around as to what could I, or which courses could I attend to build my knowledge in finance, to build my knowledge in management and human resources. Because working for banks, you're often pigeonholed, so your skills are limited. And so I started looking around, and I came across GIBS by chance, really. And it was absolutely phenomenal, the number of courses that you offered, and then it was simple mathematics, in the sense of all the gaps of knowledge would have come to a much greater sum than the Entrepreneurship MBA. So I did that, not so much for the MBA title, but because of the skills that I wanted to acquire.
And you had the opportunity to study at many of some of the best business schools in Europe. What's your experience at GIBS been in comparison to those business schools?
Well, as a disclosure, I didn't study a full course at these colleges. I've been to BS, to Oxford, I've been to Harvard, and a number of others around the world. I did courses, I did research, and various of those kind of nature things. GIBS to me is an absolute phenomenon. I mean, if you think that GIBS is 10 or 10.5 years old, and today ranks as highly as SDA Bocconi in Italy, it is beyond belief. The facilities are great, but the lectures, the staff, the curriculum is very practice orientated with a strong academic foundation, and I absolutely love that. There is a rigorousness to the program, and yet from a standard side I would say it easily beats a lot of the programs worldwide. The student body is mature, is experienced, and has that which I haven't yet been able to quantify specifically, but it captures the essence of South Africans beautifully. That diversity, that hunger, that resilience, which is often not found in students in more established business schools.
And just to finish off, what's you have a lot of exciting entrepreneurial businesses on the go. Just give us an example of one, perhaps.
I created a bookkeeping company called Hello Books. It's one of the 6 companies that I own. Hello Books does bookkeeping for SMEs and private individuals who are too busy. And what we do is we do the bulk boring work associated with bookkeeping by employing students from universities who are studying towards an accounting degree. That gives them work experience and pocket money, and it gives us relatively cheaper resources to do what is, in essence, a very, very boring job.
Interesting. York, thank you very much. Thank you for your time today.
Howard, have a wonderful day. Thank you.